How's it going, everybody? It's That One Guy's Manga, your favorite rent-a-tuber, back again with another chapter analysis and review video, and today we get a very exciting chapter, probably one of my favorites in a while. So it is chapter 393, titled The Boyfriend and the Goals. And we start the chapter off with Kazuya. He's like about to go to bed, and it's like late at night, and he gets a knock on the door. He's like, "I'm coming, I'm here." And then he opens the door to his new place, and, "Huh? Mizuhara? You're here?" And she's like, she just jumps on him and starts kissing him and making out. Wow, this is really great development for the story, everybody. Finally, we're getting to the end game now. So they're starting to make out, and it's all awesome and amazing. And then they take a little breath for air before they suffocate themselves from making out so much. And then she's like, "I'm sorry for everything I did in Obida. I'm ready to be yours now." She says something like that, and then he's like, "Shit, I'm dreaming, ain't I?" And then, "It's a dream, everybody, it's a dream. You think that would actually happen? No." So he wakes up and he starts screaming, and then we get Fish-kun. He's back, and Fish-kun, he says, "It doesn't take you long to become a noisy neighbor, doesn't it, Kazuya?" And he has a little arrow pointing to it, and it says that he's still at Kazuya's parents' place. And oh man, during the whole cohabitation arc, I guess Kazuya couldn't pick him up. I guess he was so busy with a birthday party and having his nose bleed out and all these other events and going shopping and a cosplay thing and just so many things. I guess he couldn't take care of his beautiful rainbow snakeheads and his lungfish. So yeah, I guess that he's still at the Kazuya's parents' house in the liquor store. So that happened. So then he starts getting flustered about that and starts saying, "Oh, that would never happen, such and such and such." And he's like, "Okay, I am determined though. I did think about it all last night and I made a list." And he's made a nice big list, everybody. And it says, the list says, in a nice like comic style bubble in the top left corner, it says, "Until July 11th, goals, work on body, do everything I can to find a job," which is like a job better than the karaoke bar place he works at. And I think he still works there. We haven't seen him do a shift there in forever, so correct me if I'm wrong. Please let me know in the comments. Like, does he work there still? I think so. So he wants to find a job that he could use for his like resume for his like business degree he's going for to get experience before he takes over Nagomi Liquors. And think of a perfect confession. So this is kind of relating to his answer about Chizuru asking him what he thinks about love. So he's working on that and asking Mizuhara on another date. So those are his big goals. And then he starts fantasizing about becoming all swole and all masculine for Mizuhara. And then he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna look so good. We should go to the beach and whatnot." And then Fish-kun, he pops in again. He says, "Huh? You're going to the beach?" And it's just Chad Kazuya. This is probably the funniest part of the chapter. Yeah, so that happened, and he keeps fantasizing about it. He'd be like, "Oh yeah, too bad this can't happen," and stuff like that. And then we get Fish-kun one more time for the final part of the chapter. For the final time in the chapter, we get, "Yeah, you're going to the beach." So I don't know. We're gonna get another beach arc. Is that a that could be. I don't know. I'm gonna say so. I really am gonna say so. $100 bet on we're going to the beach eventually again. Maybe the same beach in the very beginning of the series in like volume 2. I hope so. And then we get a call from Kazuyo Kinoshita, his dad, and he's like, "Oh, what could this be about?" So he picks up the phone, and he's like, "Ah, Kazuya, can I have a minute of your time?" And he's like, "Oh yeah, he's considerate like always." And he's like, "About your driving school. You told me before you started college you were gonna get it done before you graduated, and I told you it'd only take a week if you stayed there." And he's like, "Ah, yeah, I'll get right on it." And he's like, "Okay, we'll have to talk again soon sometime." And that's a pretty brief conversation. I like Kazuya's dad. He's pretty brief and straight to the point guy. So quick little conversation there. And he's like, "Okay, one more thing to the list." And he adds it. get driver's license. And he's like, all right, I'm gonna get the driver's license. All right, now, that's the end of the chapter. So we think, we got one more page. And we get the outside of this house with a black car that we know and love, I guess. That we know really well. We get the outside of this house. And then we get this lady. She's carrying her cup of tea. And we get a nice close-up shot and her beautiful sweater, and it's Mommy Chan. She's finally back after nearly 100 chapters. I think the last time we really saw her was the practice date with Meanie, the Joypolis arc in chapter 343 and 344, and a little bit of 345. And then I forget what chapter the phone call was, but on the first real date with Mizuhara, they were at Joypolis, and she called while they were waiting in line. So that was the last real thing. So now she's back. I mean, we saw her like in the thing of like Meanie in chapter 390 is like, oh, someone's gonna steal Kazuya if you're not careful. That was the last time, but she's finally coming back to the story, everybody, into the foreground of the story. And you know what she's doing? She was on the computer looking at the same, I assume, at the same driving school Kazuya is gonna be enrolling in, or I guess driving camp, because I guess he's gonna stay there for a week if he wants to get it done fast. So, oh boy! Wow, this is finally happening, everybody. This stuff is coming together. So yeah, next, okay, let's get to the predictions for next chapter, shall we? So, you've made it to the prediction part of the chapter. You might as well subscribe, you stuck with my ass this long. So, anyways, predictions for chapter 394. So, it's gonna be a Chizuru and Umi focused chapter, because the tagline for this chapter, for next chapter, says futsal. And I didn't see it on mine because I read it through Kibari or whatever, but other people read it on other sites, and the next tagline is futsal, and that means soccer. And you know which beret having ass has a soccer profile picture, and that's Umi. So next chapter we're gonna discover what came from the text message Chizuru sent Umi asking if they could talk. And we're also gonna get Kazuya and Meanie talking about Kazuya's goals, and she's gonna review them, and she's gonna be like, all right, these are solid. This will at least raise your chances by 15%. And that'll probably be the chapter, and then, yeah, maybe like some cliffhanger of maybe Chizuru gets her script. I'm gonna say, yeah, she's gonna get her script for the upcoming play, and she's like, uh-oh, the kiss scene's coming up, or something, I don't know. Something like that. But yeah, excited for next week, and you guys gotta subscribe and turn on the bell, because Nanami Mami flies high once again.